what's happening, Magnusites? You know, I heard that this was a possibility. So let's find out from the Cosmic Wonder exactly what's going on.
What's going on, everybody? It's Warren. Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, and today we have some major Loki spoilers. And of course, these spoilers are for the finale, since there is only one episode left, coming in just a few days now. And what's very interesting is that this spoiler is coming from none other than Marvel Studios. Not sure if it was on purpose. It certainly did seem like it was very intentional, but it is a pretty big spoiler, and it actually kind of gives us a hint towards who the main villain could be in the final episode. Who is in that castle? I think today's spoiler points to a pretty big theory, and that's what we're going to dive into. But of course, obviously, since I've talked so much about a spoiler, here is your spoiler warning. If you don't want anything spoiled for the finale of Loki, you should click away now. Also, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to stay up to date on all things relating to the MCU.
I don't mind it being spoiled for me.
I don't know if this was intentional or not, is because it is coming from Marvel Studios, but it's coming from Marvel Studios Canada, their official Twitter account. And they did a 3-part tweet, and it said, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Lokis. See them all in the 5th episode of Marvel Studios as Loki, now streaming on Disney Plus CA," which of course is Disney Plus Canada. However, this is the big reveal. In the first one, they posted a picture of the Lokis that we saw last episode: Boastful Loki, Kid Loki, Alligator Loki, Classic Loki, President Loki, and all the other Lokis with him, and of course, our Loki. Then in the second one, they again posted Boastful Loki, Classic Loki, Kid Loki, Alligator Loki, and our Loki. However, in the third one, they posted a picture of Alligator Loki, Boastful Loki, and Hunter B-15, giving us the major spoiler that Hunter B-15 is actually a Loki. Now, before people start to say that she looks absolutely nothing like Loki, well, neither does Boastful Loki. And he's a confirmed Loki, and Hunter B-15 would be the second female variant of Loki that we've seen in the series. But this implies that she's going to have a way bigger role than we thought she was going to have in the finale. At least get her time to shine when she figures out that she is indeed a Loki variant. Or perhaps she already has sort of figured it out. Sylvie did awaken memories inside of her in which she said she looked happy. Could she have looked happy being an Asgardian princess? Sylvie was a princess in Asgard, so we could probably assume that Hunter B-15's Loki variant was a princess as well. So of course she looked happy. She had a father, a mother who loved her, she had a brother, Thor, the god of thunder, she lived in a palace, and was a princess. However, the TVA made it very clear that there was not supposed to be a female Loki variant. However, when Sylvie was talking about the universe and chaos in one of the episodes, she said that the universe is what brought about her, the female Loki variant. So we can assume that the same thing happened with Loki variant Hunter B-15. The universe spat out another female Loki variant, and eventually the TVA came because that was not supposed to happen. If there isn't a Loki that's going on to die by the hands of Thanos in Avengers Infinity War, that variant has to be arrested. And it seems like that Loki has to be male as well, which is another reason that Hunter B-15 would have been taken in like Sylvie as well. Now, I hope Hunter B-15 gets her time to shine when she realizes that she's a Loki and perhaps goes on to help Sylvie and our Loki. More than likely, Mobius will break her out. In episode 5, Mobius went back to the TVA. Since Renslayer and the other TVA agents are the ones that pruned him and sent him away to the Limbo world, they're more than likely going to try and do it again. So Mobius is going to need some help, and Hunter B-15 is his best option. Not to mention, she's probably the only one inside of the TVA that would be his actual ally. So I think she'll get her time to shine. However, what I want to talk about is what this reveal actually means for the main villain. This actually points me more in the direction of Loki being the main villain. Not our Loki, but perhaps a King Loki. Now, just to clarify, this does not mean that I do not think Kang is behind it, because I still do. But as far as who is in that castle, I think it could be another variant of Loki, perhaps maybe the first variant there ever was. Like classic Loki said, they're Lokis, they survive. Sylvie got away from the TVA as a child. We could assume that other Lokis have gotten away as well. And I think one of them could have actually taken over the TVA. Classic Loki showed us that Lokis are a lot more powerful than not only we realize, but sometimes they realize. And after all, it is in Loki's nature to control. And taking over the TVA
Loki always seems weak to me.
Move, with the exception of Sylvie. But our Loki, that was his plan. He wanted to take over the TVA. But perhaps another Loki.
Well, he feels like Starscream.
We're actually
G1 Transformers.
Simply killed them.
That's what he feels like to me.
Hunter B-15 being a Loki variant points to a Loki being the main villain is because this show, Loki, is obviously all about Loki. But with surprise variants happening, I think the move, based on what we know so far on Marvel's behalf and the writer's behalf, is to make Loki the villain as well. He's the hero, he's the anti-hero, he's the side characters, and he's the villain. So I think King Loki could actually be the person inside of that castle. Now, I don't think Renslayer knows this. I think she knows that perhaps the Timekeepers aren't real, that there's somebody else in charge. However, she might be in the dark on Loki being in charge. Due to her romantic relationship with Kang the Conqueror in the comics, I do believe that she is working with some variant of Kang, especially after that huge Kang Easter egg in the last episode where we saw the Avengers Tower or the Stark Tower and it had QE&G on the side, which is the company that Nathaniel Richards, aka Kang the Conqueror, owns. I think there have been way too many Easter eggs for Kang not to be involved in some way, shape, or form, especially if you consider that Jonathan Majors is confirmed to be playing Kang in Ant-Man and the Wasp in Phase 4. So I think Loki could be Kang's setup. However, I don't think he's going to be the main villain of the series. I think it would be a lot to just throw him in randomly in the third episode for those non-super comic book fans like us that do research. So I think going the direction of a Loki variant himself being the main villain is the direction that Marvel's going to go. However, I do think that Kang is in the background trying to make a move. And I think that Renslayer is actually working with him, which is why Renslayer actually does want to find out who is in charge of the TVA so she can take out that person for Kang or report back to Kang and Kang can go take out that person. And I think that person is Loki. Based off of what we know and all of the images from the trailers that we haven't seen yet, there is some sort of Asgardian King Loki that we are going to see. Now, some people are thinking that these could be flashbacks, and yes, they could. But they're not going to be flashbacks of our Loki because our Loki has never been king of Asgard. The scenes that we see of King Loki have never happened for our Loki. So if they are indeed flashbacks, they are flashbacks of another Loki, which would be the villain. Or perhaps these aren't flashbacks at all. Perhaps inside of that castle is indeed Loki, and he's created an Asgard inside of the castle using his powers of illusion. If a Loki variant truly is in charge of the TVA, he's obviously extremely powerful. Probably more powerful than classic Loki, and we saw how powerful he was. We saw how strong his illusions were. He created Asgard, the entirety of Asgard. So we could probably assume that King Loki is pretty powerful as well and could create an Asgard inside of that castle. And that is most likely what we're seeing. But we don't have much longer to wait to find out. And I do think Kang could be coming in a post-credit scene for the Loki finale. Because again, I just think there have been way too many Easter eggs for Kang not to be in this somehow. But be sure to let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. What do you think about Hunter B-15 being a Loki variant? Let me know down below. Don't forget to like.
That would be crazy if she is, because I would have never, ever expected that.
As always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.
I don't know what to think about that. That could have just been a damn mistake. You know, it's like, no way! But they didn't show us the memory. They didn't. I don't know. I don't know. This series is weird for me. It's strange. There's a lot of different Easter eggs of different things in it and everything. It's been interesting. It's been interesting. I can't say. I would have to make it last on the series, you know, between Falcon and Winter Soldier and, you know, WandaVision. This actually comes last so far. We'll see, though. We'll see. Post comments down below. Let me know what you think. Was it real or was the leak not real? Is it just a mistake? Down below. 2 million subscribers. Woo!